Hi guys, today I'm going to do a review of long division. I know it's something that a lot of kids struggle with, so I want to review this as you're working. Now remember, the steps to long division, and I kind of just like to repeat this to myself over and over again until I get it, is divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. So I do divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. And I'll show you what that means as we do a problem here. So let's start with, we're dividing by a single digit. So the first thing I do is I'm going to ask myself. So the division part is more of asking myself a question. Does 3 go into 2? And if so, how many times? Well, no, 3 doesn't go into 2 because 3 is bigger than 2. So I move on to add a digit. Does 3 go into 23? Well, yes, it does. Now, the dividing part is thinking, how many times does 3 go into 23? Well, if we know our basic multiplication facts, 3 times what is 21? 7. So I'll put a 7 up here. It's very important, the placement. Put the 7 above the 3 because we're going into 23, not 2. If you put it above the 2, you're going to be off right from the beginning. So the second step was multiply. So 7 times 3 is 21. So I write that below the 23. So I said, how many times does 3 go into 23? 7. 7 times 3 is 21. Step 3, subtract. 23 minus 21 leaves me 2. Step 4, bring down. So I bring down my 7. Repeat. Step 5, repeat what we just did. So we're going to divide again. This time with this number here. How many 3's go into 27? Well, this time it works out that 3 times 9 is 27. So I put my 9 up here because we're going into this 7. It needs to line directly up. So 9 times 3 is 27, so I multiply. 9 times 3, get 27. Subtract, well, 27 minus itself is 0. Bring down. And now I repeat. How many times does 3 go into 9? Exactly 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract. There's nothing left over. No more digits. So I am done. 2,379 divided by 3 is 793. Okay, so that's how we divide if we have a single digit. Now I'm going to increase the difficulty a little bit by dividing by a 2-digit number. Same steps. We still want to divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. So again, I'll start with, does 12 go into 1? No, move on. Does 12 go into 11? No, move on. Does 12 go into 118? Yes. I do not know how many times 12 goes into 118. So this is why I use a pencil. I'm going to do some trial and error. Well, let's start with 5. So I'm going to write 5 above here because I am going to go into the 118. 5 times 12 is 60. Subtract 8, 5. Uh-oh, this number is bigger than the number I'm dividing by. So if this number is bigger than the number I'm dividing by, that means it will go into it more times. So I'm going to erase that. And was that close? No, it was kind of almost double. So almost double. What's almost double 5? 8 or 9? Let's try 9. Now, if it's too much when we multiply, then we'll have to back it down to 8. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Okay, subtract 118 minus 108. 8 minus 8, 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. We're left with 10. Is 10 less than 12? Yep. So 9 was right. So now we divide it, we multiplied, we subtracted. Now we need to bring it down. Repeat. So now I need to say, how many times does 12 go into 104? Well, if we just remember what we just did, 9 times 12 was 108, right? And we're looking for 104. So 9 would be too much, but we're only 4 off. So I'm going to try 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry my 1. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Subtract. I cannot take 4 minus 6. So I'm going to call that a 10, borrow from it, make it a 9. Make that a 14. 14 minus 6 is 8. 9 minus 9 is 0. So I'm left with 8, which is less than 12. Perfect. Bring down. How many times does 12 go into 84? Well, earlier didn't we say 12 times 5 was 60? So 12 times 6 would be 72. 12 times 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 84. No remainder. 987 exactly. So 11,844 divided by 12 is 987. Okay, let's do one more example on this video, see if that helps. Now this time I'm going to change it up by dividing by a decimal. Now, the thing about dividing by a decimal is you can't. You're not allowed to. What I have to do is the number I'm dividing by has to become a whole number. Well, where can I move that decimal to make it a whole number? Well, I need to move it over here because all whole numbers have a decimal right after them. So I need to count how many places am I going to move that decimal to the right to make it whole. 1, 2. So that's now 11. Well, the way I can do this, I made that 10, 100 times bigger, or 2 places to the right. As long as I do the same thing with the other number, it won't change anything. So if I move that 2 places to the right, move that 2 places to the right. So 0.11 became 11, and 6.314 became 631.4. I made each of them 100 times bigger, so it won't change anything. When you divide with a decimal, you bring that decimal straight up, and then you're done with it. Forget about it. And now we're just going to do the same steps. Does 11 go into 6? No. Does 11 go into 63? Yes. How many times? Well, to me, 11s are easy. 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66 would be too much, so 5. And we multiply. 5 times 11 is 55. Subtract. 63 minus 55 is 8. Bring down. How many 11s are in 81? Well, 7 would be 7 times 11, or 77. Subtract. 81 minus 77 is 4. Bring down. Repeat. 11 goes into 44 4 times exactly. 4 times 11 is 44. Subtract. There's no remainder. So our answer is 57.4, or 57 4/10. I hope this helps. If you have questions, be sure to put them in the comments or send me an email. See you guys next time.
Bye.